The UFC's roster shakeup continues. More fighters released. In a week that saw yet another round of UFC roster updates, the spotlight is on the recent releases, including a lightweight fighter with a disappointing record. The UFC's quest for fresh talent continues, with Dana White's Contender Series now concluded for the year. However, the promotion's roster adjustments are far from over, as evidenced by the recent releases of several fighters, including former headliner Andre Muniz and Irina Alekseeva, known as Russian Ronda. But here's where it gets controversial. While some fighters with consecutive losses find themselves cut from the roster, others with similar records remain. Let's dive into the details and explore the intriguing dynamics at play. The released trio: Yanal Ashmouz, Rolando Bedoya, and Quang. As reported by Sherdog's Tom Feely, 3 fighters have been removed from the active UFC.com roster, indicating their departure from the promotion. Israel's Yanal Ashmouz, with a 2-2 record in the UFC, once held an undefeated streak in the octagon. Ashmouz's impressive debut saw him knock out the rising Sam Patterson, and he followed it up with a decision win over fan favourite Trevor Peek. However, losses to Quillan Sorkeld and Chris Duncan, who boast an impressive combined record of 8-1 in the UFC, ultimately led to his release. Peruvian fighter Rolando Bedoya, on the other hand, struggled in the big show, going 0-4. Bedoya suffered back-to-back defeats at welterweight to Chaos Williams and Keenan Song, and then 2 more losses at lightweight to Jay Herbert and Jamie Malarkey. Vietnam's Quang Le had a mixed record in the UFC, going 1-3. His career took a turn with his first loss against veteran Chris Gutierrez in his UFC debut. Le was then finished by road to UFC finalist Long Sierre and the undefeated Santiago Luna. His lone UFC win was a notable $50,000 finish against Gaston Bolanos at UFC Damaren. The curious case of Tai Tuivasa. One name that continues to spark debate is Tai Tuivasa. Despite being ranked number 12 in the heavyweight division, Tuivasa holds the unfortunate distinction of having the most consecutive losses among ranked fighters. With 5 straight losses to top contenders, Tuivasa's last win was a knockout of Derek Lewis in February 2022. The question on many fans' minds is, why has Tuivasa retained his spot on the roster while others with similar records have been released? And this is the part most people miss. The UFC's roster decisions are often complex and multifaceted, considering not just a fighter's record but also their marketability, fan engagement, and potential for growth. While some may argue that Tuivasa's continued presence on the roster is a sign of favoritism or inconsistency, others might highlight the promotional value he brings or the belief in his potential for a comeback. So, what do you think? Is the UFC's roster management fair and consistent? Or does it favor certain fighters over others? Share your thoughts in the comments and let's spark a discussion.